Yes, I agree to be interviewed and recorded.
Hi, I'm Ian Johnson. I worked at Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge, and I was an intern there who did groundskeeping, youth outreach, and other social media things.
Right. Hi, I'm Jane Rock. I currently work at Leopard Boutique, which is a small family-owned business, and I am an accounting intern there, and I do a lot of their bookkeeping and their day-to-day accounting functions. So a typical day at work looks like me coming into the office. I stay in the back room. I'm not out on the floor in the boutique, and I work on a computer.
But most days we would end up doing groundskeeping and making sure that the habitats were not being disturbed.
My work environment is very friendly and laid back. It's mainly women that work there because it is a clothing boutique, but it's owned by a man and a woman, and so a lot of my coworkers are out on the floor selling clothes.
The work environment was very friendly. It was the summer shift, so the staff of the refuge basically triples.
Well, since the owner of the business is a man, he does a lot of the paying the bills, and he helps me with the accounting functions and just making sure everything is paid on time and everything is getting done on time, while the women are more the people, like the face of the store, the people that are out working with the customers.
Oh, so my coworkers, my boss was actually the head of the social media outreach and stuff like that. So we planned a lot of stuff with schools around us. And then we had the director, I forget his name, but we had the director, and he basically was just involved with making sure everything was managed correctly.
So since I work at an all-women's clothing boutique, it is mainly women that work there, and there have been males that have tried to apply there, but a lot of them don't have the experience or the expertise that they need in order to do the job. The store that I work at is actually owned by a husband and a wife, so there are two people at the top that make the decisions, so there isn't really any inequality in the workplace there because they're a team and that's how they work. I would say I'm closer to my female coworkers because there are rarely any men in the store at all. It's mainly female.
One person there named Bruce, who was like the handyman, he did everything, and whereas the women's jobs would be more supervising, and the only woman that really went outside was our boss, because she would come with us with a lot of stuff we did. This girl, Jennifer, she was another intern, and basically she couldn't lift the bucket that we were carrying to go tag all the geese. So they took us along instead of her, even though it was her field, just because we needed to get there really quickly.
The women are the ones who work out in the front of the store selling the clothes to other women because they know body types and they know how the clothes work on people, and then the males usually work back behind the scenes doing other functions like accounting, finance, just paying the bills and everyday activities like that.
I'd say it's a government job, first of all, so that makes it a little bit more static. It's less, you can move up, it's harder to move up. It's a much slower process because everyone's kind of gunning for one or two positions. Besides that, I would also say that they're put in roles in which they can't display leadership as easily. I can't think of a specific example right now, but definitely they were given more advantages, either subconsciously or on purpose. I was closer with males where I worked just because of the fact that my internship, there's different internships for each sect of the refuge, and the one that I had, the only other person that had it was a guy.
I would say I'm closer to my female coworkers because there are rarely any men in the store at all. It's mainly female.
There are a lot of the males that worked there. They wouldn't take as much time off because usually they either didn't have a family, they were very young, or something along those lines, where my boss, Sarah, she had two really young kids, and her husband also worked. So she did take a little bit more time off, but on a general thing, I think that's more her as a person and the age of her kid. I don't know, the only time that I really noticed something was different was when that handyman, Bruce, guy that I was talking about, he would get really upset if something didn't go his way, and people are like, oh, that's just him. And then there's this one woman that worked there, and whenever she got really upset, everyone's like, yeah, she gets really temperamental about this kind of stuff. Just give her space. She kind of freaks out about this. And it was more focused about how her character was, why that happened. With the guy, it was more that's just, he gets mad about that. Just don't do that thing.
Especially as being a woman in the workplace, especially being a woman in business. it can be hard to work your way up the ladder. And I think a statement that really was powerful to me was a woman said, you're not going to be given any help. You can't expect help. I mean, you may be given help, but you can't expect help. You have to figure out how to do it on your own.